Well, hello guys. Look at our spring. It is all white all over again. Can you believe it? At the moment, we are in the lull of the storm, but more's on the way. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. Now, I know some folks are coming onto this video and they don't know where we live, and I'm going to put a guessing game if you can guess, before you look at the comments, where you think we live, where we have 9 months of winter in 1 year, okay? It's been snowing since October, and it's May. It has snowed every single week since April 1st this year. Last night, we got almost 2 to 3 inches right before we went to bed. And then this morning, woke up, and a lot of it had melted because the ground is warm, but it's been snowing all morning. And you can see there's just a little bit of snow coming down right now. There's a lot of fog behind me, but we're supposed to be getting the bigger part of the storm tonight and into tomorrow. I can't believe it. A whole nother day of weather like this before the sun comes back, okay? We had a winter weather advisory, and the winter weather advisory said 8 to 16 inches of snow predicted coming by the tail end of the storm. Had probably 3 inches today, but because of the moisture content and the warm ground, it's really compressing. And right now, I'd say we probably only have about 3 inches of snow. A couple of days ago, it looked like spring for sure. We had the hummingbirds at the hummingbird feeder. We had stellar blue jays, the Rocky Mountain stellar jays, visiting our bird feeders. We had woodpeckers on the deck trying to get to the bird seed that I put out. We've seen moose. The moose came by yesterday trying to eat some grass. So there's been signs of life. In fact, I saw a fox the other day, and it was too fast for me to get it on camera. But it turns out I got the fox on camera on the game cam. I think it was trying to get under the storage container after the family of rabbits that lives under there. So there's definitely been activity this spring among the birds and the wildlife and the bees. The bees have been flying. So it's just been exciting to feel like that spring is coming. I planted seed not too long ago, and now it's like back to winter. And the poor bees, I don't know if they're ever going to get a chance to collect pollen this year. It's just been chilly weather and just a handful of nice summery days for them. But boy, I'm sure they're sick of the snow too. They're ready to get out and forage some real good stuff. If you follow our channel, you know every spring I come out in here and I make a video about how it's snowing in the spring, and it's not a surprise, but it has been different this year. This year has been the first year that we've lived here that it has snowed every single week of the spring. As much as I'm tired of seeing the snow this spring, I think this is going to make a really good wildflower season, and that means a good honey season for the bees. And then you can see behind me, the snow has been sliding off the roof like crazy. It's a heavy, wet snow. It's a slippery surface, and there's heat. One thing that happens a lot in the spring, you'll see, if there's no residual snow on the roof, and then we have a storm, the snow slides off the roof on the same day. It's a turn back to wintry weather, folks. That's what we got right now. They said that the storm was going to go from 3 p.m. today, which it is right now, all the way to 3 p.m. tomorrow. So I'm going to have to check in with you guys tomorrow and show you what it looks like. Well, here we are, guys. It's 24 hours later, and it's snowing still. So if you guys were on the live stream yesterday, then thanks for joining. That was really fun. I know a couple folks sent some super chats. I didn't catch everybody's name, but I do appreciate it. Hard to say what we got for snow totals because it's still snowing a little bit. And then it's so warm, it keeps compressing everything. So I don't know. We got somewhere around 8 inches, I think, total in the last 48 hours or so. So what do we do with all the snow? I mean, it's good for the ground, and we're going to have some nice wildflowers this year, I think. But, you know, when life hands you lemons and you make lemonade, life hands you snow in the spring, you make sugar on snow. It's the special kind of snow. It happens in the springtime when the maple trees are producing sap. It's the snow that occurs during that window of time. Usually, and it could be anywhere from February through April, where the temperatures are above freezing during the day, and then they drop to below freezing at night. And that is this magic recipe for getting maple trees to produce sap so that you can make maple syrup. And the trick to making maple syrup is that you take the sap and you boil it down. 60 gallons, you boil it down, you get 1 gallon of maple syrup. If you already have the maple syrup, you can do something else with it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to collect some snow. Now, this is the tricky part because you want to collect snow from an area that you know is not very contaminated. So I'm up on the deck, and Vigo's made his way all around the deck. He hasn't been on this chair. So I'm going to harvest some snow very carefully and put it in my pan and pack it down. And this is the step one of making sugar on snow. You guys are going to see something that you don't see too much. This is like a rare tradition that you only really find up in the Northeast or in Canada. This is one of those special things. When we were kids, our parents would take us up to the sugar shacks up in Canada. And you would sit down for a buffet breakfast, and then they bring out everything maple syrup you can think of. It was just delicious. Actually, I'm going to leave this outside for now on this chair. And now we have to do the next step, which is prepare the maple syrup. So if you haven't heard of sugar on snow, you're going to really enjoy this one. Okay, first of all, it's something I grew up with living in Vermont, and you definitely cannot substitute. You need real maple syrup for this. So if you know how to make maple syrup, it's kind of the same step. What we're going to do is we're going to boil down maple syrup to a softball stage, and when it gets to that temperature, then you pour it over the snow, and then it turns into like a taffy. And so it turns into this like gooey, sticky taffy that you can spear at it with a fork, twirl it up on your fork, and then eat it like a candy. So it's a delicacy that you really can't afford unless you have a full gallon of maple syrup at your disposal. So that's what we're doing. And the first step is just to pour in the maple syrup. So because I'm just using a bread loaf pan, I'm just gonna probably put in about a cup of syrup. Not gonna put in a whole lot. I mean, that is a whole lot of syrup, but we're gonna be boiling it down. So we're gonna be boiling it down, and how you monitor is that you use a candy thermometer. And I'm going for a softball stage, so. Okay, I'm gonna take it off again. Just don't want it to boil over onto my flame. So I guess you can avoid this by using a bigger pan. All right, I'm gonna transfer pans. I can't seem to get my maple syrup up to temperature, so I'm gonna heat this one up and then transfer it in so I can let it boil at a little bit of a higher temperature. Okay, now we're in business. Now we can really get that up to the right temperature. Fast. Plenty of room for it to bubble and expand, so it's not going to take us too long now. Aha! And Brian coming home at exactly the perfect time. What does it smell like in here?
Smells like sugar on snow.
I had to transfer pans.
Yeah.
I had it in too small of a pan.
Yeah. Where you going, big boy?
Yeah.
Oh. I know you needed Daddy home, honey.
Oh
my
my
God.
I can already tell a difference in the consistency just by getting it a few degrees higher over. Now I have to go get the snow. It's sitting out here on the deck. Channeling my inner Pepe.
Inner Pepe.
My ancestors who used to do sugar on snow. You can tell I'm an amateur at this, but I actually think it's pretty thick right now. We're probably ready for it. We're only a few degrees away from the softball, so to make sure we have taffy and not little balls on the snow, I think we're gonna call it. Okay. Here we go.
Nothing like dessert before dinner.
Yeah. Now this doesn't go with my other channel. So if you guys like cooking videos and stuff, I've got my other channel on YouTube called Your Inspired Life, where I give tips on healthy eating, which doesn't really include maple syrup in a pan, but I might use maple syrup in some other recipes like maple glazed salmon or something like that. So definitely check it out if you like watch more cooking videos and hear about some healthy tips about healthy eating, healthy lifestyle. I'm wondering sometimes if the altitude has anything to do with this. It's definitely more bubbly than I've ever seen in my life. I know. Okay, so this is what you do. When to cool it off, you pour it over the snow. So when life gives you snow in the middle of May,
You make candy.
you make sugar on snow. My gosh. Okay, so now you have to demonstrate how you eat. It should be more liquidy. Oh, it's so bubbly. I think I've made very close to maple sugar. It's a little bit gritty. So it should be a little bit more toffee-like. Anyhow, the fun part is, once it lands on the snow and it cools off, you got your own little candy.
Delicious. Where's mine?
Kind of like I remember it. Okay, Brian's turn.
Yep. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Eat that all night.
Pretty tasty.
Well, it's funny because some of them are kind of chewy, and then get another one. A little gritty.
Oh yeah, that one's kind of chewy. Sugar on snow. All right, guys. Usually you have this in March, not May. It's not really technically sugar on snow unless it's sugaring season, which is when the maple is flowing. It's supposed to, you pour it out on the snow, get these little toffees, and it's really fun. The traditional way is to do it in a sled, a little toboggan sled. And you put it on the counter, and the whole family comes around, all the grandkids, and it's a great time. Now, in my hometown, they have an entire festival, a maple syrup festival in April, and they serve sugar on snow. In the traditional way, they give you a little paper tray, they have snow in it, they put the maple, and then they have a side of pickles, because after a few bites, you kind of feel like you've had too much sugar. Have a couple pickles and you're ready for more. That's an old Vermonter trick for you guys. Do you know, Vigo, he doesn't mind. He's just as content to be outside with his ball in the snow as well as he is in the mud or on the mulch or in the shade. So no weather deters this guy. He's ready to play every minute. You have to go get it. Go! Yep. It's a messy snow, guys.